Every relationship hides a story, and every story carries pain. Welcome to Cheating Stories Insights, where truth bleeds through words. The courtroom lights were too bright. They burned into my skull like judgment itself. Across the aisle, my wife, ex-wife now, smiled at her lawyer as the judge signed the final decree. Her laughter was quiet but deliberate, like a knife dragged slowly across glass. "You'll never see the kids again," she whispered when she walked past me. Her perfume hit first. Then the words sank in. It wasn't rage that followed. It was stillness, the kind that comes before a storm, when the sea holds its breath. When it was over, I left California with a single duffel bag and the clothes on my back. The $2.2 million house? Gone. My children? Gone. My name? Barely intact. I drove east for 3 days straight, until the billboards turned to fields, and the sky stopped looking expensive. Ohio. My father's house, or what was left of it. He died the year before, heart attack in his sleep. The basement still smelled like dust and oil, his two most constant companions. That night I stood in the doorway, surrounded by boxes, rusted tools, and ghosts. I thought I'd hit rock bottom. I was wrong. Rock bottom has a door, and I was about to open it. It started with a flicker behind the furnace, a faint draft that shouldn't have been there. I moved the old metal unit aside, coughing through the dust, and there it was. A small steel door, bolted into the concrete. A safe. I almost laughed. My father, the man who never owned more than a broken watch and a bottle of whiskey, had a safe? The combination pad was mechanical, 5 digits. I stared at it for a long moment, my brain too tired to think. Then, instinctively, I turned the dials to my birthday. There was a click. The door opened. Inside was no money, no jewelry, no documents, just a single envelope. My name was written on it. And beneath my name, in his unmistakable handwriting, were 6 words. "If you're reading this, they found you." My pulse froze. For a full minute I didn't breathe. I just stood there, staring at the letter. Then I tore it open. The pages inside were yellowed, written in the same trembling hand. "Son, if you're reading this, it means the past has come for you. I never told you what I did before you were born. I worked for people who don't forgive debts. I stole something from them, something that wasn't mine to take. And to protect you, I disappeared." There were coordinates written at the bottom, followed by one final line. "If she ever betrays you, go there. You'll understand everything." I read the letter 3 times before it sank in. He wasn't crazy. He wasn't drunk. He was warning me. And she, my ex-wife, wasn't just betrayal. She was part of it. The coordinates led to an abandoned property outside Dayton. It took me 2 hours to get there, driving through fields of frost until I found a collapsed barn swallowed by weeds. Inside, buried beneath a tarp and old crates, was a metal case. When I opened it, I found photos, dozens of them. My father, men in suits, stacks of money. And then, her, my wife. Not recent, younger, early 20s. Standing beside one of the suited men, smiling. The same smile she wore in court. The back of the photo read, "Los Angeles, 2006. The year I met her." That night I sat in the dirt and stared at the photo until my hands started to shake. It wasn't coincidence. She hadn't just married me, she'd been sent. I didn't go to the police. What could I tell them? That my dead father warned me from beyond the grave? No. This required something else, something quieter. I called her the next morning, my voice steady, my tone light. "Hey," I said, "I was thinking maybe we could meet. Talk about the kids." She hesitated, suspicious. But curiosity was always her weakness. We met that evening at a cafe near the courthouse. She looked perfect, as always. Calculated perfection. I slid a manila folder across the table. Found something interesting while cleaning Dad's house. Her fingers paused mid-air. She didn't touch it, didn't need to. Her eyes told me everything. She'd seen it before. "What are you trying to say?" she asked. I leaned back, calm. "Nothing. Just thought you'd like to know your secret's safe. For now." She froze. Her expression cracked for just a second before she forced a smile. "You're insane." "Maybe," I said, "but now, so are you." Over the next few weeks, her life began to unravel. Anonymous envelopes arrived at her workplace, old photos, copies of the files, bank records she thought were hidden. Her lawyer dropped her case. Her boss stopped taking her calls. Her perfect California world, built on manipulation and deceit, started to rot from the inside. She called me one night, voice trembling. "What do you want from me?" "Nothing," I said. "Just clarity." She hung up. That was the last time I heard her voice. Months later, I stood again in that basement. The furnace hummed softly, as if nothing had ever happened. The safe was empty now, its purpose fulfilled. I realized something then. My father hadn't just left me a warning. He'd left me a mirror. He'd made his mistakes, and I had married mine. But unlike him, I wasn't running anymore. I was ending it. I sold what little I had, packed my father's old revolver, not as a weapon, but as a reminder, and left Ohio behind. The world outside was cold, gray, and wide open. Somewhere in California, she was probably still looking over her shoulder, waiting for another envelope. She wouldn't find peace. Not because I'd hurt her, but because I'd let her destroy herself. That's the thing about revenge. You don't need to strike the final blow. You just need to hand someone their own truth and walk away. As I drove into the horizon, the sky bleeding orange through the fog, I whispered the last words my father ever wrote. "If you're reading this, they found you." But this time, it wasn't a warning. It was a victory.